Սիրելի բարեկամներ, մեր հաջորդ ակնարկը ձեզ կպատմի վերջերս Նյու Յորքում տեղի ունեցած համերգի մասին կազմակերպությամբ հայ բարեգործական ընդհանուր միության։ Համերգին մասնակցում էին 2014 թվականի Sayat Nova մրցույթում հաղթող արտիստները։
Recently, the AGBU's Performing Arts Department welcomed everyone to the 2014 AGBU Sayat Nova International Composition Competition Gala Concert and Award Ceremony. The event took place at the renowned Symphony Space Theater, a staple of New York's cultural scene. The Sayat Nova International Composition Competition is designed to introduce Armenian musical traditions to a wider audience. This year, in commemoration of the centennial of Armenian genocide, the competition asked the composers to submit original compositions for an ensemble of Armenian traditional and Western classical instruments, with verses from the poetry of Daniel Varuzhan, one of the first victims of Armenian genocide. This exciting concert began with opening remarks by Haik Kocharian, director of AGBU's Performing Arts Department, followed by performance of Delay Aman by Vasco Dukovsky playing Duduk. In his opening remarks, His Excellency Zohrab Mnatsakanyan, ambassador of the Permanent Mission of Armenia to United Nations, said,
I think 2015 is laced with symbolism for us, the Armenian people. 2015 is the centennial of the Armenian genocide. And for us, it symbolizes 100 years of grief and tragedy and injustice. But also, I think it symbolizes very strongly our pride, our dignity, our revival, and our confidence.
David Ayrian performed Sayat Nova's Ashkharkas Eshchimed on Kamancha. Ara Güzelimian, Dean and Provost of the Juilliard School, addressed the audience.
I was very moved, as I'm sure you were, by what we just heard. And it struck me in a perfect piece of planning that what we've heard and what we're about to hear captures our spirit as a people. We hear these ancient instruments and these voices that are both timeless and eternal in the duduk and the kemanche and in the hands of a master like that. And shortly we hear the generation of new art that has at its root an Armenian identity. And we honor and revere our past, and we affirm our existence and our voice and our look towards the future.
Christian Erbslo Papazian and Haik Kocharian presented the winners of this year's competition with diplomas. The winners were Haik Kocharian from Armenia at the first place, Dick Lung Fong from Hong Kong, second place, and Richard Melkonian from UK at the third place. Poetess Lola Kundakchian read Arachin Tsiler by Daniel Varuzhan and other poems. The works of winning composers were performed by an international ensemble of musicians from Armenia, Finland, France, Macedonia, and the United States. They were Tallinn Nalbandian mezzo-soprano, Vasco Dukovsky duduk, Elizabeth Means cello, Christian Erbslo Papazian piano, and Ursula von Lerber piano. The ensemble performed Andastan, written by third-place winner Richard Melkonian. L'Esperance Lointaine by second-place winner Dick Lung Fong. The Flowers of Golgotha, written by the competition's first-place winner Haik Kocharian. The ensemble also performed Sayat Nova's Amen Sazi Mechen Govats and Yesku Rimeta Chimgiti. Congratulations on a very successful concert. It was very interesting. It was very beautiful. It was a sold-out crowd. Give us some of your impressions. How did it go?
Thank you very much. This was a very important concert, as you know. This whole idea of this competition is to give exposure on the Armenian arts, music, traditional instruments, poetry, our culture to the non-Armenian, especially to the non-Armenian community, because us Armenians, we know more than the non-Armenians. And with the competitions, you know, having winners and participants from all over the world, it was a very, very important step in introducing our music to the world.
This competition was born in 2006, where AGBU was, it was the 100th year of AGBU actually, and the idea was to think a little about what we could do for the Armenian culture, for the Armenian music, and for just building the future.
Գրավել եմ առաջին տեղը եւ բացի դրանից Կարնեգի հոլ մրցանակ եւ Հայաստանի ֆիլհարմոնիկ նվագախմբի մրցանակ եւ շատ ուրախ եմ, որ առիթ ունեցա մասնակցել այս ամբողջը, որտեղ շատ հետաքրքիր փորձառություն էր եւ շատ կարեւոր է հետասար կոմպոզիտորի համար այսպիսի բաների այսպիսի միջոցառումների մասնակցել, որովհետեւ դա միակ ճանապարհն է, որը աճ է խթանում կոմպոզիտորի համար.
In fact, it's quite natural for me to compose for the duduk, because in the Chinese counterpart we have an instrument called the gunji, which is have a very similar timbre with the duduk and similar techniques as well. Sayat Nova's music is very somber and it has a science of that it wants to tell you a lot of things through the music, especially when they play the kamancha. Although I don't understand any Armenian language, but the music itself has a lot deep meaning to tell you.
Well, for me it was a great honor as a half Armenian and Armenian diaspora. It was really special for me to engage with my Armenian heritage in that way. I've always felt like a sort of half, diaspora, and always trying to reconnect to my Armenian tradition. So for me, this was really important, both musically, culturally, for my identity, and I hope that my music actually spoke to Armenians as well.
It was a great honor to perform tonight. The best thing about tonight was that we were able to work with living composers. They were at the rehearsals, we were able to ask them questions. What do you mean by this marking or this, sign? We were able to work together. All of us worked on our parts individually very hard, figuring out exactly how it has to be played on our instrument. But when we came together, it was a completely different animal, trying to put it together and trying to breathe as one ensemble and figuring out where to push and pull and how to put it together.
It was actually my first time singing any Sayat Nova pieces, because usually I'm classically trained, so it was very fun to just go, to go back into my Armenian culture and just embrace all the different trills, and there was a different style.
It was a great pleasure, being part of this project, this competition, and it's really an honor playing the duduk and playing the music of Sayat Nova. He's a legend, a great personality, and an example of what a human being could be. Even though he lived a while back, he's a great example and an inspiration for a lot of artists, a lot of musicians, I think anybody involved in the arts.
So it was a great privilege to participate to this Gala concert. I think that all of these three composers are really great talents, and it was very interesting to work together with them and also with the other musicians. All the three pieces are very different from one another, and they are all inspired by the poetry. So it was very beautiful collaboration, I think, between the poetry and the music.
Sayat Novan կարելի ասած մեր հայ ազգին սիրտն է եւ մյուզիկան Sayat Novan բոլորն մեր հայությունը համար.
This concert is one of the brightest examples of what the AGBU Performing Arts Department is aiming to accomplish: to introduce Armenian traditional instruments to an international audience and to strengthen cultural connections between Armenia and the rest of the world.